Hi, thanks for joining us today. My name is Kim Murdock and this is ArtzHub Online. You're watching our craft project videos. These are free and shareable. I'm going to teach you how to make all kinds of cool crafts using things you have at home. Things like paper plates, paper bags, paper towel rolls, recyclables, coffee filters, stuff like that. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a paper bag puppet. The one we're going to do together today is a dog. This is a really cute dog. He's going to have glasses, a little bandana, a paintbrush. He's really cute. But once you learn how to make the basic paper bag puppet, you can turn them into anything you want. So the dog will stay at the dog, of course, but you can use the same skills you learned today to turn a paper bag into something else. So for example, here's an alien. That smells pretty cool. A horse. We've got a pig, a chicken. We even have Poseidon over here. He's pretty cool. We've got an abstract zebra and a platypus, which this is one of my favorites. He's so cute. We even have a cool cat. This one is nice because it shows you how you can put like hats and scarves on them. And your puppets can be for any time of year. So if you want it to be a springtime puppet or a wintertime puppet, you can change it up by things you add, whether it's flowers, if it's springtime, or hats and scarves if it's wintertime. Or here's an example of a lemur. This is from a few years ago. The truth is, as you can see, you can turn these into absolutely anything you like. Now it's time to get started. Let's talk about the supplies we're going to need first. So this is a paper bag puppet, so that means we're going to need a paper bag. This is the type of paper bag you would have a lunch packed in. Sometimes they're white, sometimes they're brown, sometimes they're different colors. It doesn't matter. Whatever color you have is just fine. They're just a small paper bag. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a glue stick. I'm recommending that you use Scotch tape. Scotch tape is clear tape. If you don't have Scotch tape, it's okay. You can use whatever type of tape you have. And of course you need some markers. And for this project, I'm going to use some of the white art paper. Okay, now that we've reviewed our supplies, we're going to start the project together. So this paper bag puppet has a lot of steps, but we're going to do them slowly together, one step at a time. The first step is to create the muzzle of our dog. The muzzle is just the cheeks and the nose. To do that, we're going to take a piece of our white art paper and we're going to fold it in half, hamburger style. So the hamburger fold looks like this. And when we fold it, what we'll really do is measuring the paper. You can open it back up and you'll notice there's a nice line down the center of your paper. That's where we're going to cut. So take your scissors and cut on that line. Once you've cut on that line, you're going to have two pieces of paper that are about the same size. You can set one down and fold the other one. When you fold the other one, it's going to be another hamburger. This one is where you can actually imagine a hamburger in here. At least I can. Sounds tasty. You're going to open that up again. And once again, you're going to cut on that line. We're going to give you a moment to finish that. Okay guys, so now that we've cut our paper down to size, it should be about this big. If you take your paper bag and place it right here, you'll notice that what you cut is a little bit bigger than the paper bag, and that's okay. What we really want to do is make sure that we glue that paper underneath the flap. The flap is what allows the paper bag puppet's head to move up and down. For example, with this dog, when you put your hand inside the puppet like this, then you get to move its face around. And that's because the flap is letting you do that. So back to your bag and your piece of paper. I'd like you to slide the piece of paper underneath the flap, just like this, okay? And then I want you to lift the flap back, and we're gonna put some glue right here. So open up your glue stick, open up the flap, and just put some glue right here. You don't want to put too much glue, but you also don't want to put too little glue. So just need to put enough glue so that that paper is glued to that flap and you can still move this up and down, okay? So while your glue is drying, what I'd like you to do is close your glue stick so it doesn't dry out. And you do need a Sharpie or a pencil for this. I forgot to mention that earlier, but make sure you have something to write with. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw our dog's cheeks. And the cheeks need to go from the edge of the white paper bag, like this, And so we're going to draw a curve and a curve. So you see how I did that? Once you have those curves the way you want them, you can do some details. I'm going to go ahead and put some spots on my dog's cheeks just for fun. You see how I drew the spots on there? You can do whiskers as well if you want to. Right here is where we're going to do our dog's nose, and half of the nose is going to be on the paper bag and half of the nose is going to be on the paper. So I'm going to start my dog's nose with a line that curves, and it looks really funny. It's just a curving line. It looks like a frown or something. But we're going to turn this into a dog's nose by drawing two more lines that come in on either side. And the bottom looks a little bit like a mushroom. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a curving line like that. Okay? So this is looking pretty good. I'm going to draw a reflection mark on my dog's nose. A reflection mark looks sort of like a jelly bean, sort of. It's going to remain white, and it shows that our dog's nose is shiny. So that's looking good. I'm going to close my Sharpie now. And I want you to notice that there's a lot of paper here. Now maybe you made this a lot bigger and maybe you made it smaller, but if you have room here, you can have something in your dog's mouth. What are some things your dog might be holding on to? Like a dog toy, or maybe a sock, or maybe a dog bone. Or maybe its tongue is sticking out. I think that sounds like a good idea. So I'm going to draw my dog's tongue sticking out, just like that. Here you go, pretty cute. So now that we have drawn our dog's cheeks, we need to use our scissors and trim that extra paper. So do you see how I'm holding it now? I'm holding it with the body of the dog facing down. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to be real careful, and I'm just going to go around these lines. This might take you a minute, and that's okay. We're not in any kind of rush. It's just good to take your time so you have a nice result. So you can see this is already looking more and more like a dog. This extra piece of paper you can use later, or you can recycle it. The next thing I'd like you to think about is we're going to draw the lines of the dog's nose coming up. So again, with your marker or pencil or Sharpie, we're going to draw two lines that come up from the edge of your dog's nose, and they look like that. Then we're going to work on the eyes, and I'm going to continue those lines to the edge of the bag on both sides. So now it looks like our dog's really happy, like he's laughing at a good joke. I'm going to go ahead and draw two circles, 1 and 2. And so those are where the eyes go. You can make these eyes as detailed as you want. I like to draw the eyes with a big reflection mark. That reflection mark is a circle on both eyes. And then the pupil itself is underneath that reflection mark. And so what I do is I just draw an oval and I fill it in black. Here's one of the eyes, okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. And I now have important things here. I've got some eyes, I've got a nose, some cheeks, and a tongue. Dogs have really cute furry eyebrows, so I'm going to go ahead and draw some of those. Those are just some squiggly lines. And they usually have some nice curving lines underneath their eyes and maybe some fur. So I'm just adding a few lines here and there to give it some detail. Now, what I'd like you to think about are what shape ears you want your dog puppet to have. So in this example, these are some big ears, right? And in this example, this is from a different time, this dog has little short ears. So really, whatever you want for your dog's ears are just fine. To make the ears, what I'd like you to do is pick up one of your spare pieces of paper. So you have a couple pieces of paper. You should have one that's this size and one that's this size. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to use the smaller one. And again, I want to measure. So whenever you're measuring something that's about the same size, it really helps if you fold something in half. So I'm going to fold this again, another fold. This is another hamburger fold, although I guess you could put a hot dog in there, but whatever. So go ahead and fold it in half. You see that line? We're gonna cut it again. So now we have 2 pieces of paper that are the same size. So for the dog's ears, I'm gonna do something that is kind of like I showed you earlier, like this. This is sort of a triangle shaped ear. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my marker and I'm going to create a dog's ear. Looks a little bit like a Dorito, I think, but it's a triangle shaped ear. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut that out right now. And I am going to use that to trace on my other piece of paper. See how that's going to fit perfectly? And so that's a really handy way to make sure things are the same size as well. So I'm going to go ahead and trace that first ear on my second piece of paper. And when I cut it out, it'll be the same size. So what I'd like you to do right now is work on your ears. I'll give you a minute to do that. So now that I've cut out my dog's ears, and I have 2 of them, it's pretty cute, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue those on. So we're gonna overlap here, and I just want you to notice that it's not over here, it's not back here, it is overlapping, and it's kind of at an angle, okay? If we don't overlap, then there's nothing for the glue to stick to. So open up your glue stick. You're gonna put some glue in these top corners here. And I'm gonna hold this up so you can see, but it overlaps a little with the eyebrow, but that's okay, because that's what would happen in real life. So I'm gonna take a moment, and I'm going to, let's see here, there we go. I'm going to glue those ears on at an angle, and I can adjust them until they look the way I want them to look. So that's pretty darn cute, I have to say. So this dog looks great, and what I'd like you to think about is adding some detail that you see here. So this dog has little arms that stick out, and the little arms are made out of the same thing that the ears and the snout are made out of. So you should have no problem if you have more paper. Again, just fold it and cut along those folds. And that way you're gonna have something that's about the same size. So to do this, I forgot to close my glue stick, better do that. So to do this, what I wanna do is draw an arm for my dog. And I'm going to make it bigger than it needs to be. And I'm going to make it kind of imaginary. So that's a pretty big arm, but remember, we have to do some overlapping so that the paper can glue onto the back of the bag. So same thing we did with the ears, we're going to do with the arms. So I'll give you a moment to do that. You're going to cut this out. You're going to trace it on your other paper, and then you're going to cut that out, and then we'll have 2 arms to work with. So go ahead and do that now. All right, now that we've cut the arms out, I just want to show you what they look like. Your arms don't have to be curving if you don't want them to be. If they're curving though, you have a lot of fun options. So for example, with your dog, you could have both of his arms going up. That's pretty cute. You can have one up and one down, make it look like he's dancing. Or you could even have both down. You can have him eating something, holding something. There's a lot of things these arms can do. So I want you to think about that. And when you're ready, I'd like you to open up your glue stick. And the thing about the arms is I like to put them on the back. So we're going to flip our bag over, and we're going to have these glue on the back. And remember, we made them a little bit longer than they needed to be. That's because we have to overlap a little. So decide what your dog's arms are going to do, and you're going to glue them on. It's important that you glue them on sort of right across from the nose or the snout area. If they're too low, then they'd be coming out of his side. And if they're too high, they'd be coming out of his ears. So think about what you want your dog's arms to be doing. And use a good amount of glue. And you can have his arms glued on any way you want to. This is a good time to mention the glue is really great, but we do use the tape as well on a paper bag puppet. Because these are things that you play with. These are usable, and we want them to not fall apart. So the tape is used for reinforcement. So that's why it really doesn't matter if it's Scotch tape, but if it is Scotch tape, then you really can't see it. And since you see the front and the back of this puppet, it's nice if it's clear tape. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to go ahead and just tape over the ears and the arms to make sure they're really, really attached. And if it's, you notice it's invisible tape, you can't see it, but they're really attached now. All right, now it's time to add some accessories. So if you have different things at home, you're welcome to put anything you like on this paper bag puppet. For example, if you had something at home like some faux flowers, or maybe some type of construction paper, or stickers, or anything like that, you can decorate this any way you want to. If you have construction paper, you could even make glasses and maybe a bandana and a paintbrush. You can make those things out of plain white paper as well, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. So we have some scrap paper left over from the arms and from the snout. So it's always really good to use scrap paper so that we're not wasting anything. So I'm going to grab a piece of this paper and I'm going to make a bow for my dog. And so you could do like a bow, a hat, a bow tie, maybe your dog's wearing a sweater or something, or a scarf. So think about what you want your dog to have. I'm going to make a bow for my dog. So I'm going to draw a little circle and I'm going to draw the edges of my bow, and I'm just trying to make this paper useful, so I'm trying to make the bow as big as I can. You see how I drew it in the corner there? You can make it any kind of bow you want, but go ahead and work on what you're going to add to your dog and go ahead and cut that out right now. So I made a bow for my dog, and some people might want to have more than one bow, but I think it's pretty cute. I'm going to go ahead and put it right there. And in order to do that, what am I going to use? I'm going to use my glue stick. I'm just going to put some glue right there where the bow belongs. Whoops. And see how I put the glue right there in that spot? I'm going to take the center of that bow and I'm going to go ahead and stick it on. Just to make sure that it's on there nice and tight, although I think it is. If you want to reinforce it with some tape, you might want to take a little piece of tape and just put it on the back. And that little extra bit of tape just gives it that extra bit of stability so that it's not going to fall off anytime soon. So our paper dog is looking really great, and it just needs some color now. If you want to add any other accessories, you're welcome to. Meaning if you wanted to have something in your dog's paw, like a bone or a flower or a little sign or something that said hello. But mainly it's time to do some coloring. So I'm going to show you a couple of techniques for coloring, and then I want you to take some time and finish that on your own. So I have my markers here, and I have a lot of shades of brown. You may not have all the same shades of brown that I have, but you certainly can use whatever brown you have. Another color that looks really good with brown is yellow or orange. So I'm just going to take my regular brown first, and I am going to start to carefully fill in areas around my dog's eye. So, didn't get the other one done yet, but you see even a little bit of color makes it look really cool. So I'm going to finish coloring this and I'm going to show you what it looks like in just a couple minutes. You should work on yours now as well. Ta-da! Here is my paper bag puppet. I certainly had fun making it. I hope you enjoyed joining us today. As you can see, you can do whatever you like with these puppets. You can give them a dress, for example, if you want to. And once you know how to make the basic puppet, you can make any kind of object you want, whether it's a person or an animal. You can really be creative with this type of craft. Next week, we're going to be making something that's really fun too. It is a corner bookmark. This is a bookmark that is designed to hold your place in a book. So you put it right there. And so when you open the page, it's holding your place for you. And when you close it, it's inside the book. So this is a really useful and fun craft that we're going to do next week. See you then.